Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Kill Count. Today I will be finally looking at Squid Game Season 1, released in 2021. This series is by far one of my favorite TV shows I have ever watched. The compacting story with a great lead actor definitely makes this an enjoyable watch. Really fucking recommend this series. But enough talking, let's get to those kills. Episode 1 begins with Seong Ji-hun, also known as 456, telling a story. He says as a kid, they used to play a game called Squid Game. He ends up winning the game, of course. It cuts to present day where his mum gives him some money to spend on his daughter for her birthday. They talk about how they have no money to pay bills, but as soon as she leaves, he takes some of her savings and goes to withdraw some money. By the way, this guy is in the Squid Game Season 2 trailer. He gets the money and goes to bet on horses, and actually wins bro. He gets excited and calls his daughter, but it's cut short by some loan sharks running into this girl who takes his money, so now he can't even pay them. They give him a little more time, and bro asks them for more money. Later on, he goes to have dinner with his daughter, and it don't really go that well. Bro got her a gun lighter.
Plus it's a lighter.
After that, he takes her home, and his ex-wife gets pissed off. To make it worse, he ends up missing his train. He sits down where this man goes up to him.
Listen, I want to let you in on a great opportunity to...
456 isn't really interested until he opens up his briefcase and offers him money if he can beat him in Dutchie, but of course he loses immediately, so Bronem gets slapped until he actually wins and gets his money. The man says there's more games like this, and literally says everything he knows about him bro, then gives him the business card.
We don't have many spots left.
After that, he's all happy and goes to see his best friend Sang-woo mum. He gives her some money for the food, and goes home where his mum gets more pissed at him. She tells him that his daughter and ex-wife are moving to America, but he needs money to have his daughter stay in Korea, so later that night he decides to call the number on the card and waits outside for the ride. They pick his ass up and also knock him out cold. Then he wakes up in the game bro, he looks all confused and sees this old guy counting. Because he has a brain tumor, Ji-hun realizes there's over 400 people in this bitch. The old man says he doesn't have much time left, so that's why he's here I guess. Then we see this guy named Deok-soo. He tries fighting that one girl 456 bumped into. Her name is Si-byok. Sorry if the I voice didn't say that right. It cuts short when the guards come in and tells them why they're here. They get sketched out until they hear about the prize money. Then they finally go to start the first game. We also see the front man watching. Then they walk into the game where 456 sees his best friend Sang-woo. Player 218. He's confused because Sang-woo lost like his whole career. They introduce the first game as red light, green light. The first call is said, and this dumbass is the first to get killed. They realize they actually get killed, so like literally half of the players get killed. And I know that more die in this game, but I'm just gonna count all of them now. And the old man is the only one who continues. 218 tells him to get up soon because there's a time limit, and also tells him to hide behind people. Meanwhile, 101 gets scared of 67. The last minute on the clock is spent with jazz playing, while 456 gets saved by 199. Luckily, they both make it. Episode 2 begins with the guards burning the bodies. It cuts to all the players who survived the first game. The guards come in and let them know how much people died. Most of the players beg to leave the game immediately. 218 stands up and says in the contract if majority agrees to leave the game, they could leave. This is true, but they make sure to show them the money so far, then they all vote if they stay or go. Majority ends up picking to leave, so they all get dropped off. Ji-hun gets dropped off with 67, Arka the pickpocket. They untie each other and still ain't on each other's side. Meanwhile, Sang-woo gets dropped off with Ali. They go to a store where he lets him use his phone and gives him money for the bus ride home, while 456 tries to tell the cops about the games, but obviously don't believe him. They even try to call the number.
Could I come play in those games there?
After he leaves, this guy named Jun-ho gets interested by the card. Then 456 goes home to not see his mum. Meanwhile, Sang-woo debates on seeing his mum. Ji-hun goes up to him, and they finally catch up. Sang-woo says that he gambled all his life saving and his mum's store bro. Then Ji-hun gets a call about his mum. She's in the hospital. She tries to just go back home, but he really wants her to just stay in the hospital. It cuts back to Jun-ho talking to his mum about his missing brother. He goes to see his brother's apartment and finds a gift box with a game card. Now we see 67 with her little brother, who's in a foster home. He's sad because he wants to leave. Then we see Ellie go inside his work and go up to his boss demanding his money.
So please give me my money back.
You shit, don't touch me!
He ends up getting his hand crushed, and Ali takes the money. After that, Sang-woo decides to call his mum, and he lies to her how it's going, but after that, the cops come up to her. Then Sang-woo decides he's gonna come back to the game. Then we see Ji-hun running into the old man. He sits down and they talk. He tells him why he wants to go back to the game. Then we see player 101 with his friend or something, and bro sets him up, so he actually kills him.
Hey! Welcome to Korea!
Then jumps off the bridge. After that, Ji-hun visits his ex-wife. To ask for money, her new husband offers him money, but tells him to stay away.
If you just keep showing up...
To make it worse, his daughter sees him. He goes home and Jun-ho asks him about what he was talking about. Bro just walks away and sees a game card in his door, so yet again, all of them decide to return. We see that 67 covered her mouth. Episode 3 begins with Jun-ho walking the van. He ends up finding all of them. He sneaks and beats his way in and takes his uniform. As all of them change, 67 manages to sneak her knife in. Then they all wake up in the game, and all team back up. Then we meet probably the worst character in the series. Why bro, they all just chill for now and try to think what the next game is gonna be. Then Jun-ho Arca Guard 29 finds his room. 67 asks 212 for her help, and she ends up seeing what they're planning for the next game. Then they wake up in the morning and get their food, where this one player finds out the next game. While they make their way to the next game, 218 says he heard what 67 was talking about. She just says she's seen them melting sugar. Then they finally arrive. It's a big ass playground. They have to stand in front of a shape. 218 thinks about what it could be, and he actually figures it out, but doesn't tell them anything. He says they should choose different shapes. 218 obviously picks the one he knows is the easiest, but this fucker 456 picks the hardest shape.
Then I'm choosing the umbrella.
You sure?
And now the game begins. They get their shapes and have to cut them out. This makes 456 in a panic. They only have 10 minutes to do this. They start working on it. We see the first guy break his and he gets absolutely shot. Then we see even more people die yet again. I'm just gonna count them all right now. We see that 212 uses her lighter to cheat. 111 is the first to pass, and more passed too, including 218. Sang-woo. 456, Ji-hun realizes if he licks the cookie, it will cut faster. Asum, 212 decides to help out 101, and very last second, my boy 456 passes. This guy gets mad cause he lost, and makes one of the guards reveal himself, getting them both killed. Then 29 takes his mask. Episode 4 begins with the remaining players returning to the dorm. 218 just happy to see that Ji-hun made it. We see how much people died and more money. They get in line for their food, where 101 and 212 start to go back for seconds. So this guy doesn't get his food. He tries fighting for his food, so 101 stomps him out so bad that he dies bro. They just take it as a regular elimination. Jun-ho 29 changes his mask to the square, and the square guards are the leaders or some. These guards sell the dead players' organs and shit with the help of player 111 because he's a doctor. 218 says they can't fall asleep tonight because he thinks they might try to start a fight. So Ji-hun goes up to 67 and tells her to go to them if anything happens tonight. After 111 gets done, they give him an egg that says the next game. They tell him to find a strong team, so obviously he goes up to 101 and his gang. Then they all get ready for bed. 101 gets up and fucking stabs that girl who snitched on him. To make it worse, the guards activate these flashing lights, and even more people die. He ends up finding 67 and tries killing her, and someone fights 456. But of course, they got each other's back, even more motherfucking people die. They end up helping out 67, and they only stop the madness when the old man gets scared. The guards come in and gets the bodies. After that, they just talk about what happened, then they learn each other's names. But the old man can't remember his name. Then the doctor stitches up 101. After that, him and 212 do some weird ass shit in the bathroom. Then they finally wake up in the morning, and now the third game is about to start. They all go in this white room and get into teams of 10. They try to only go for men, and that doesn't really happen. For this game, 101 doesn't want 212 on his team.
Get up! God, this bitch so pathetic. Get your hands off me.
So she gets mad and really joins their fucking team, annoying Sang-woo. Then the next game is introduced as tug of war. The first teams get called and they go on their towers. Both teams fucking tug for their lives. But of course, 101 and his team beat them, getting cut down. Then the other teams get called, including 456 and the main ones, while they go up. The old man tells them the trick to tug of war. Then they go in there, and they do what the old man says. They lean all the way back for a second, and starts pulling when the other team slips, but they still can't beat them. Episode ends with Sang-woo telling them to take steps forward. Episode 5 begins with them making the other team drop, and they actually end up winning, killing the other team. They just quiet after that and go back to the dorm, and I'm just gonna count the rest of the teams cause it's never shown. We see that everyone's just annoyed of her ass. Before they go to bed, they decide to make a barricade just in case, so 101 goes to talk to 456.
You'd be the first person I'd go for.
But what he says makes 101 think. So he tells his boys they're not going to do anything tonight, and these guys say they're going to take turns keeping lookout. Sang-woo and Ali are the first ones. They talk for a bit. Meanwhile, 28 and 29 arrive to the doctor and others, and 111 feels pressured. Sang-woo wakes up 456 to switch, and the old man joins him. They talk for a bit until old man feels a little sick. The doctor starts getting pissed the fuck off, then 29 and 28 go to deliver. 111 gets mad because they don't tell him the next game. He ends up killing one of the guards, and runs away. He ends up in the cookie room. Meanwhile, 28 tells 29 to take off his mask. He does, but of course, Junho is prepared, making 28 reveal himself, and makes him spill everything they know about the game. Meanwhile, 111 and this guard try to talk. The guard even reveals himself. Then he gets fucking shot by the front man, and 29 just shoots Bro Nem. After that, the front man kills the guard, and 111 gets shots up. Then Junho sneaks in the front man's office. He goes in this little room, where he finds all the Squid Game archives. Meanwhile, the players get woke up, and we see that Junho finally finds his brother. Not actually though. Now onto episode 6, also known as the saddest fucking episode. It begins with them getting ready for the fourth game. In the game hall, they see the dead guards and 111. Then it cuts to the front man answering a phone. While 29 hears this, all the players go back to the white room and are told to partner up with one person. Yet again, that bitch begs for a partner. 218 says he wants Ellie to partner with him, so they do. 456 doesn't know who to pick. 67 and this girl decide to be partners. 456 turns this guy down, so he can choose the old man because they're good friends. Timer runs out and 212 is left with no partner. Then they finally go to the game. They each are given some marbles, and it motherfucking turns out they'll have to be going against their partner.
You will play the game of your choice with your partner.
Only one can fucking win, bro. This makes them all stressed out, and they only have 30 minutes. 218 tries to get the game going. Meanwhile, 67C Biok talks with player 240. They decide to make a simple game and just wait out the timer. 218 and 199 start to play. Also, 101 is absolutely losing to 278, and Gi Hun tries to get the old man to play. 218 starts losing to 199. Ali says he doesn't want to play. 456 gets mad at the old man, so this gets him to play. Meanwhile, 101 gets mad and says he wants to play a new game. They allow it. 218 only has one marble left, so he gets pissed at Ali tough. Until the guard points the gun. 67 and 240 decide to just talk about their deepest secrets. Then 218 switches up and starts crying to Ali. He straight up lies to Ali and says they could both make it. Meanwhile, 456 is getting his ass beat in marbles, leaving him with only one marble. and now 101 starts winning against 278. 218 tells Ellie to walk around the whole damn place and come back when the timer reaches 3 minutes. Meanwhile, 240 tells a story how she seen her dad kill her mum. Then she killed her dad. 456 makes his final wager. He ends up losing. But the old man's tumor makes him forget. So 456 gets another chance, while 218 is over here switching out Ali's marbles. Then we see 101 make his final shot and misses bro. But we have to see this guy's final shot, and bro knocks 101's marble in, getting 278 killed bro. 218 puts a fucking bag of rocks around Ali's neck, and 456 keeps winning because old man keeps forgetting. Meanwhile, Ellie's walking around like 218 said. And this motherfucker really cheated and wins the game. Bro, Ellie realizes the clock reached 3 minutes. 67 and 240 finally decide to start. Closes to make it to the wall. The old man only has 1 marble left now, and decides to walk away again, while 240 decides to not even try, and lets 67 win. She gets mad at her, very sad scene, and Ellie comes back to see 218 leaving, because yes, he took your marbles, and player 199 Ellie gets shot off screen. Also, of course 240 gets eliminated. 456 cries to the old man, and bro knows he was tricking him.
That's what you did this whole time. That's tricking your friend like that.
But the old man decides to give 456 his last marble, letting Gi Hun win the game. The episode ends with 456 walking away as player 1 gets shot. Spoiler alert, he ain't dead bro. Episode 7 begins with the remaining players heading back to the dorm, where they see 212 chilling. Turns out she got lucky not getting picked, but now there's only 17 players left. The frontman ends up hearing a noise and starts looking around everywhere, but doesn't find anyone. Meanwhile, the players feel fucking traumatized. 218 tries to tell 456 not to feel bad and points out this guy who basically had to kill her wife. Then the frontman ends up finding out who snuck in. Meanwhile, 69 says he wants to leave. This makes 218 piss the fuck off and tells his ass to leave. Then, for the first time, we see 218 more determined in the game so far. Then we see the VIPs arrive. The frontman grates them. He takes them to the VIP room, where they will be watching the 5th game. But they have to wait till tomorrow. Meanwhile, Junho takes this guy's clothes, and the players wake up to see that 69 eliminated his damn self bro. Then they all get ready for the next game, and all the VIPs get settled in. Then the frontman reveals the game. The players have to choose what number they'll be in order. They all take theirs, and 456 is left with the front or back. He ends up choosing the very back, and now they finally walk into the next game. It's the fucking glass bridge. The first guy gets freaked out. He makes the first one, but immediately dies on the next jump. Meanwhile, this VIP tries getting freaky with Junho. This chick also ends up falling. Then this guy takes forever to go, but when he does go, bro clears a shit ton, until he falls to his death. Obviously, this guy goes next and dies because of this chick. We also see that she died immediately after. Meanwhile, the main players in the back start to worry. Next we see this guy who gets threatened to get pushed off if he doesn't go. But this gets turned around when he throws the other guy off, just to get his ass pushed off. 101 tells his ass to move. Barely just now, 456 makes it onto the bridge. This guy ends up falling like the rest, of course, leaving 101 the player up next. But obviously, his ass don't want to go.
Hey everybody, listen! Anyone want to get across?
So he tells everyone someone else has to go first. Meanwhile, this VIP gets even more freaky with Junho, and he takes him to a private room, while 101 is really willing to run out the timer.
You'll be waiting here till we're all dead.
The VIP tries to do some weird shit with Junho, but of course he gets the upper hand, literally, and tells him to spill everything about the game. This guy ends up getting pushed off by 212, and we see them both face to face for the last time. She lies to him and says she'll go first, but last minute fucking grabs his ass, and she pulls him down, killing them both in the process. This was really a satisfying way to kill both of the worst and best characters of this season. I think player 101 Deok-soo was one of the best actors and character in the series. Then one more gets killed, leaving 4 remaining. One of them was a glass worker, I guess, and can tell the difference between the glass. They realize this and shut off the lights. Meanwhile, they find the unconscious VIP and the front man leaves. With 20 seconds left, 218 loses patience and pushes this old motherfucker off. After the finalists make it, the glass breaks, leaving glass flying at them. And bro, I know for a fact this is a YouTube sound effect. After that, we only have 3 players remaining. Meanwhile, the frontman goes to look for Jun-ho. Episode 8 begins with Jun-ho getting on the other side of the island. Meanwhile, all the players return to the dorm. 456 goes to confront his friend 218 about pushing that guy, and we see 218 turn into like a whole different person. He gets pissed off at Ji-hun, making them completely split apart and now become enemies, also making 218 absolutely determined to win this fucking game. The guards come in and tell them to change into these. While 67 goes to change, we see that she got injured by the glass. That's why she was so quiet. The frontman finds where Jun-ho is, and he gets enough signal to call his fellow cops. Meanwhile, the last 3 players get a special meal. They eat that shit up, except 67. She barely touches her food. Then we see Jun-ho getting his ass chased by the guards and front man. He gets to a stop, and the front man knows he only has 1 bullet left. Then the players are left with their knives. He shoots him, but the front man doesn't want to kill Jun-ho. We finally see the front man take off his mask, and it turns out the missing brother he was searching for was the fucking front man. He tries to get his brother to come with him, but obviously he don't want to, making his brother have to shoot him. But I know for a fact bro is not dead. Back to the players. 456 goes to see 67, and they have a little talk. She tells him about her little brother and makes him promise to take care of him if she dies. He's interrupted by knowing that 218 fell asleep and tries to kill him, but 67 tells him not to.
You're a good person at heart.
He sees that she got hurt, so he tries to tell the guards. They come in and bring a coffin because this motherfucker 218 killed her while 456 wasn't looking. This is definitely the most saddest scene of the series brew, leaving 2 players remaining and the front man feeling bad. Finally, on the final episode, it begins with the remaining 2 players, 218 and 456, facing off in the last game, Squid Game. Ji-hun ends up picking a fence and they make their way out. While the VIPs watch again, they finally start the final game. As we seen in the first episode, they both know how to play this game well, using every dirty trick in the book. Then it starts to rain, and 456 starts his Inspector Royal shit. Then 218 explains why he killed 67.
You and that girl would have been the majority you needed to get out!
Then they start fighting this shit out. 456 fucking kicks his knife away, but almost gets his ass pushed out the circle. They start fighting all wicked again. 456 ends up getting stabbed the fuck up, but then bites this man's foot and just beats 218's ass.
You killed everyone! You killed them!
This shit is too sad, but he spares him for now and starts to walk towards victory. But we see 456 show sympathy to his once best friend and tries to end this with them both leaving alive, and none of them get the prize money. But 218 says some last words, then just takes himself out so 456 could win. Before he dies, he tells Ji-hun to take care of his mum. The game finally ends with 456 crying and winning. The front man congratulates Ji-hun on winning the game, but he just wants to know who he is. They end up dropping him off with the prize money, but when Bigos go use it, he only takes out 10,001. He walks home truly fucking traumatized and doesn't even says anything to 218's mum. To make everything even worse, he goes home to see his mum on the floor pasted away. Then it cuts months later and we see a depressed and lonely Ji-hun. He asks this guy to borrow money, knowing damn well he has so much money just sitting there. He goes to drink it out, where this lady goes up to him and he buys a rose and sees a motherfucking game card. He goes to the address, where he sees the mastermind behind it all, the old man bro. This makes Ji-hun mad and confused. He tries to play a little game with him. The old man knows 456 didn't really spend any of the prize money. We see the old man talk about this shit like it's normal, like saying how he just wanted to have fun before he dies, but he does make a point. He said he let Ji-hun live because he made the game more fun, and he apparently hasn't had that much fun since he was a boy. And the old man just dies right there, leaving 456 winning another game. Then we see the frontman visit the host. We see a flashback of old man after he got eliminated. After this, we see Ji-hun finally starting to live life. He follows up on his promise to 67 and goes to get her little brother. She has him go stay with Sang-woo's mum for a while, leaving her with a fuck ton of money. Meanwhile, we see Ji-hun try to go see his daughter in America, but he's interrupted by the subway guy. He rushes over there and steals that guy's game card. And right before he gets on the plane, he decides to call the card, and the season ends with him going back to the Squid Game. I estimate around 445 people died in this season, and no, I don't know them genders. Thanks for watching.